So, good afternoon, everyone. Well, afternoon, evening for some of you all as well. So, today we're going to talk to you all about how much cash do you really need to buy a home? Okay. A lot of times people talk about just the down payment, but there are a few more things outside of that. And we're going to talk about that today. So, let's get right into it. All right. So, by the way, you guys can also see that we've helped a lot of people go into home ownership over the years. Some of them did not meet the qualifications, some of them did, and some of them don't even live in the state of Illinois, and we still were able to help them accomplish their goal of home ownership. So, again, just want to let you all know that we can help you. Okay, let's get right into today's information. By the way, you're going to see right there our 90-day home buying challenge. Scan that QR code to learn more. Okay, so now, how much cash do you really need to buy a home? Well, that is going to depend. Okay, these are going to be some of the top things that people know about and may not know about when they're going into home ownership. Okay. So, number one is going to be earnest money. Okay. Now, earnest money is essentially the engagement ring. It's essentially saying, hey, I promise to buy this home. Okay. And once you go under contract, which means you make an offer, the seller accepts that offer. Okay. And at that point, that's when earnest money is due. It's essentially saying, hey, I'm going to go ahead and take care of my side of things. You go ahead and take care of your side of things. But just so you know I'm serious, here's earnest money. It's called skin in the game. Okay. Now, usually that's 1% of the purchase price. That's 1% of the purchase price. Okay. So, for example, if the house is 300,000, what's 1%? That means the seller is going to expect at least $3,000. Now, why is this important to know? This is very important to know because, when we start getting into like the warmer seasons, we're going to get into that stage in which people are going to be, almost like, battling over these homes. This is one of the negotiation factors, is giving more earnest money. Why is that? That shows the seller that you're in a good financial position, and chances are slim that you would not be able to get financing. Okay, so that's number one, is going to be earnest money. Number two is going to be the appraisal. Okay, now the appraisal can range. I've seen people pay, as low as $500 for an appraisal, and I've seen people pay almost $1,500 for an appraisal, and that depends on square footage and loan type as well too. Usually, you're going to be around that 1,500 range, $1,000 range if you're buying commercial property. But if not, on average, you're going to be around about 500 to about $750. Now, with an appraisal, this is a lender amount that's due. Okay. So what does that mean? That means that there's a chance that your lender may be open. Okay, I just want to make sure that mic was on. There's a chance that the lender may be open to reimbursing you, okay, for paying that amount of money. So keep that in mind, as well as you're going through the buying process, is that your lender may be open to giving that back to you. Okay, most won't, but some of them have different perks if you're doing business with them, as well too. Okay. Now the appraisal is non-refundable. Okay. Don't forget, now the earnest money is refundable if you can't get financing, if there's a situation with the inspection and you guys just can't agree to terms, if the value of the home and you all can't agree to terms because you haven't decided how that's going to end up working on that side of things. So again, all of those things are going to play a major role as you're going through this process. Okay. And again, that's how you can get your earnest money back. But with an appraisal, that's non-refundable. Okay. Next is going to be your inspection fee. Again, this is non-refundable. Okay. Now, an inspection fee is essentially when you're buying property and you get that property inspected, okay, by an inspector. Once you get that property inspected by an inspector, you're essentially paying, to have that done every single time that you look at a property. Okay. Because every time that you look at a property, the assumption is you're going to go ahead and get it, inspected, right? So now that inspection fee can range anywhere between $450 on up. I should have put a plus sign on that because, of course, a lot of people are watching us from different states, different, properties. I would say cost a different amount, and so that's going to play a role in how much that inspection fee could end up being as well too. I've seen some inspectors charged by the square feet. Some inspectors charge by the unit. Some inspectors just have a flat fee. So you're gonna just figure it out on your own. But on average, I've seen about $450. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Next would be a termite inspection. Okay, now a termite inspection, at least for where I live in Illinois, near Chicago is about $100, really 95 to $100 for a termite inspection. Now, this is optional. This is optional. Why? Now, here's the thing though. If you get a VA loan, it is mandatory. Okay. But if you are not using a VA loan, which is a Veterans Administration loan, where zero down, if you're not using that loan, okay, which only veterans can use, then you don't have to worry about this. Again, this is completely optional. Okay. Here's the kicker though. It's mandatory, but the buyer is not supposed to pay for it. It's crazy because the buyer's loan requires it, but the buyer isn't allowed to pay for it. So the seller has to pay for it. I'll just say that. Okay. So now next would be a radon inspection. Now, again, this is another optional inspection. But why am I bringing this up? Because sometimes people want to get a radon inspection on a property, especially if other properties in the area have had recent radon, positive tests. Okay. So again, that's going to vary depending. Usually it's on square footage as well. Then you have village inspection repairs escrow. So let's talk about this. This is a new thing that's been kind of popping up lately. And now this is not going to affect everyone. This usually affects the suburb areas. So or like villages or like small towns. So this is how it works. Most villages, they're going to do what they call a village inspection or pre-sale inspection, post-sale inspection, whatever. And how it works is they come by, they look at the property, and they just want to make sure that work was not done without permits. That's really what they're looking for. Some people still think it's a money grab, but either way, they're making sure that someone didn't rehab a bathroom, a house, install something without having permits. But not just that, they want to make sure that the work was done correctly. So if they see that the work has been done, but no one told them, they're just going to have someone pay a fine or a penalty along with the proper permit fees. Now, along with that is going to be repairs. Now, usually, if you have an inspection and it has a list of repairs that need to be done, the seller has the right to say, hey, listen, I don't want to do these repairs. Can I just give these to the buyer? And if the buyer agrees, here's what happens. Some villages were in situations where sellers got the inspection report. Sellers didn't want to fix anything. They said, hey, I'm just going to give this responsibility to the buyer. That happens all the time. Buyer says, yes, no problem. Buyer then has 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, a year to get these things completed. Well, here's the problem. A lot of villages start running into situations where people never got the repairs done well after they've moved into the property. And so now they're already starting to owe the village money. So what some villages have been doing lately to combat that, they've been saying, listen, in order for us to move forward on this, we want $1,000 or $1,500 to ensure, okay, that this gets done. And once you pass inspection, then they'll release that money back to you. So again, this is not every village, this is not every area, but this is most definitely something that's been on the rise in 2025. Next is going to be down payment. Let's talk about this because sometimes people think that all they have to bring is 3.5% down. That is depending on your loan type. So if you have an FHA loan, then it's going to require 3.5% down. Or if you go conventional, then there's 3% available, 5%, 10%, 15%, 20%, and on mostly commercial, 25%. Okay. You need to know that because sometimes, depending on your debt to income, you may be forced to go into a conventional loan and you may have to go a slightly higher down payment percentage. So keep that in mind. Also, when you're going through the home buying process, you have possible debt payment or settlement. So, for example, if the lender says you're good, but the underwriter says, hey, you're not good, we need you to pay off this account, this credit card, this collection, this whatever, be prepared because they may have you end up paying that as well too. So keep that in mind that of things that may pop up. Next would of course be a home warranty, completely optional, but some people like to have that warranty. Some people actually like to have, and for those who don't know, a home warranty is essentially something that's usually prepaid in advance and you're covered for, it's an annual situation. So 1 to 2 years, depending on what you want to do. And when something breaks down or something goes, like something like breaks or whatever, then you are able to just pay a deductible and then they make sure that everything gets fixed. Okay. There are some pros and cons, with that. Sometimes people feel like, oh, well, I'm paying them $50 just to fix something that's $40 or something like that. Then you got to do the math and see what makes sense to you. But again, that's completely optional if you want that home warranty. Okay. So again, like I mentioned, we do have our 90-day home buying challenge. For those of you, of course, I think you guys heard about this recent story as well, which, by the way, I'll be speaking at an upcoming Sigma Gamma Rho event that's coming up as well too. This is one of those members that's there, and she essentially went from the 400 credit scores to qualifying for home ownership. We looked at her credit report. We told her exactly what she needed to do, and we were able to put her in position to go into home ownership. Now, you could do the same. Okay, we have our 90-day home buying challenge where we're going to be having a series of 9 classes. I'm sorry, 9 calls that we're going to be doing, some in the morning, some in the evening, along with 3 separate master classes to hold your hand throughout this entire home buying process. Now, we're going to be showing you some basic things to improve your credit score, also going into the home buying process. But listen, if you want a game plan, this is the time to get one, especially if you're looking to buy a home this year. Okay, want to make sure that we got that covered as well too. Let's go and jump into the comment section for a couple of minutes. I want to see if there's any questions that we have as well. Of course, we got Queen in the house. Greatly appreciate you being here as well. All right, and then here, let me make sure my screen's a little bit bigger. Okay, perfect. All right. And then Maria's in the house. Appreciate you being here as well. Listen, Elizabeth has been acting crazy inside of the community. Okay. So she's been doing a great job. She just joined the community the other day and she's getting her credit questions answered. Let me say that again. She's a part of the 850 Club Elite community and she's getting her credit questions answered. Okay. All she's doing, listen, she posts her question up there. And when we have time, of course, we know we check the group and stuff. We go back and we get those questions answered. So again, this is like having that credit coach in your pocket. Okay. So again, if you're looking to accomplish certain goals this year, listen, let us know because we most definitely want to help you. But you can get those accomplished inside of our community as well. All right. And of course, Shinobi's in the house, another community member as well, too. All right. And that's the thing. Again, if you all are looking to go into home ownership, we will show you exactly what you need to do and help you get into position this year. Again, it doesn't matter where you are nationwide. We can help you here. I'm going to put my email, well, not my email, our email. This is going to be from support. Okay. So again, if you all have questions about certain things, sometimes we get questions on certain things about the products and services that we offer. But again, most of the things that you guys are going to be needing, to go and accomplish your goals, I'm telling you, the community is going to be everything you need to do so. Okay. But either way, I put that there inside of the chat as well, too. All right. And that's what you want to do. So Queen says, hey, friends, he's right. Gems in your pockets for sure. Okay. So make sure you guys take this information down and we will see you all on the next video. What's going on, R Lake? We will see you all on the next video as well. Oh, you know what? Here. Okay. So Yonobi did have a question. She says, I didn't see that a real estate lawyer fee is needed. Let's talk about that. So now, you do need, so having an attorney is optional, but of course it's strongly recommended that you actually get an attorney. Very few transactions don't have an attorney. Even those transactions still need an attorney, in my opinion. I wanted to talk about the things that people probably didn't talk about as much or didn't probably understand as much, but you most definitely will need an attorney as well. Those can range. I would say on the low end, about $500 for an attorney if you're on the buy side, and maybe around 800 to 1,000 on the sales side. And again, everybody's area is going to be a little bit different. If you're down south, it may be a little bit cheaper. But if you're in California or Florida, around the DMV area, New York, stuff like that, expect those high numbers for sure. And Texas is starting to get crazy too. Okay. But yes, that's what you want to have there in place. Okay. But don't worry, we're going to be covering all of this in our 90-day home buying challenge for sure. And we're going to make sure everybody gets their questions answered to the best of our ability. All right. We'll see you all on the next video. Make sure you guys go ahead and scan that QR code or click the link inside the description below to learn more about that 90-day home buying challenge. And we'll see you all in the